Hey guys, this is me. um, I'm making a channel update because a lot of things have happened in the past couple of days. First of all, I'm gonna have to apologize that I didn't do this update sooner, and that I'm doing it now instead of having it posted as soon as possible. Um, if you have noticed, I haven't posted the next, well, any kind of game episodes, which should have been, um, which should have probably been existing at all on December 10th. And right now it's the 11th. Um, that's mostly because I have a problem with my health right now. So let me start with a few things. The way I usually record my episodes is that I usually take um, 2 or 3 days during the week. And I try to make a bunch of episodes within that day specifically, mostly because the way I record my episodes, I have a room that has an echo. If you haven't figured it out, probably haven't, because right now you can maybe hear it because I'm recording using my laptop microphone, and it's not the best. Um, the way my room is, it has an echo, and in order to minimize that echo, I basically set up this huge station, and then I sort of like, it kind of looks like two tripods connected by like a metallic pipe, or rather three metallic pipes that are joined to each other. And then what I do, I usually like put a heavy drapery, like really heavy quilt. Like, they sometimes sell those fluffy quilts in Costco, those really warm blankets and stuff. Uh, so yeah, I usually drape one of those, and because I found out that hey, they're really good at insulating sound more or less. Then I put up like a yoga mat on the floor because I also found out somehow it makes the echo less as well. And I pull my curtains over because every little bit probably helps as well, and cover a bit of my table with my cloth. And I do that setup every time I want to record it, and then I clean it up as well. Um, a lot of it has to do with the fact that I don't have my dedicated recording room. I usually use the room for daily purposes because it's my bedroom. So so having all of this stuff blocking off the way to my table, for example, is not it's not super great. So yeah, that's how I usually do my episodes, because of that mostly. But so which is why you might think that, oh, is that why there's no next episode, because you ran out of them? Yeah, that's pretty much it. I ran out of the episodes I can publish. Um, and record as well. Also because if you live in America, you probably celebrated Thanksgiving with your family, or been busy preparing for Thanksgiving, or doing stuff like that, which is what took most of my priority. And then the other part that took my priority, which is something that's far more urgent, is helping my parents to renovate their bedroom, which is basically just a fancy way of saying do the caulking, repaint the bedroom, stuff like that. And the reason why it's my priority is because no one else in my family can do it at the moment. Mostly because I'm the only one who more or less remembers how to do it. Well, my sister can, but she has a far more busier schedule than me, because she has a really, really intensive work, and it tends to take a lot of her time. So I'm usually the one to do stuff like that, and help with cooking for family, for my family as well. And my parents, they're not young anymore, so I'm helping my parents with that because they're not young, and someone has to take care of them. Obviously, your kids have to, well, their kids have to take care of them. But anyway, so I was doing that a lot, helping with taping up the what do you call it in English? The trim, I think it's what it's called. taping up, well, covering the floor and taping up, all of the used Trader Joe's paper bags, so that, if any paint drips, at least it's not going to be totally, going through to the floor. Although I'm pretty sure I already messed up because one of the paint buckets spilled paint on a a canvas cloth, which someone recommended at some point on the internet to use that for painting, but it doesn't help that too much. So yeah, if you get paint on your floor, you can try to use nail polish remover, because for some reason that helped the last time me and my sister, we were doing our rooms like a couple of years back. So yeah, except it might maybe brush off like what'd you call it? Like, how the if you have wooden floor, you have sort of like a shine to it. Maybe it has some kind of a transparent coat on it to make it, well, to protect it basically. Yeah, I think it might remove a bit of that, but I'm not sure. But anyway, it helped with the paint regardless. Especially where it dripped from the trim a little bit onto the floor. So moving on. So I was doing the most difficult part of the bedroom called painting the ceiling. And in the past week, yeah, pretty much past week, I've been painting the damn ceiling three times because I forgot how you paint properly. So the thing is, when you paint, you well, first of all, you need to avoid having your roller strokes on it when it dries up, and you'll be able to see the lines if you did it incorrectly. Which is what happened to me because the my parents' room was pretty large, and I was pretty slow at painting the ceiling. So by the time I laid on some of the new layers, the other ones, the older ones or the ones near it dried up, which is one of the key reasons what leaves the roller paint streaks on your ceiling. And I was trying to deal with that and getting frustrated a lot, also because I am very physically unfit. Basically, me and exercise, we don't go hand in hand with each other, and I know it's a bad thing, but you know that's the reality of it. That's just the how it is for me at the moment, and I'm trying to get better at it. Do more exercise and stuff like that. But yeah, for now it's a love hate relationship. Um, but because of that, that led to my current health problem. So after the third time, I tried to deal with the ceiling by painting it properly this time, and being very generous with paint. That's another thing, is that don't be stingy with your paint, and don't try to stretch it out, because stretching out also what can lead to these paint streaks as well, because you start to putting a lot of pressure on the roller, which is not what you should be doing. It should be just very slight, and it usually works when your roller, it has enough paint that it's very saturated with pink, but it's not dripping it. That's the point that it should be at. But anyway, so after the third time I painted, the next day, when I woke up, everything was fine, and when I was trying to put on my clothes, that's when things went downhill. Basically, my back started hurting like hell. I couldn't move properly. I couldn't um, really walk straight, or rather walk at all, because it's my lower back pain, and for some reason it gives off a bit more pain into my right leg as well. So it's like it's favoring for some reason the right side of my body than my left. But because of that, it was also painful on my leg, especially whenever I tried to sit at all, literally like sit in a chair, sit on my bed or something, my leg starts feeling like it's twisting, like the muscles and everything twist, and it's agonizing. However, it doesn't happen as much when I walk, so I've been doing occasional, walking around and slight stretches, mostly because we figured out that it's probably nerve pain that I'm having, which is why it came on so suddenly. How long was it? Like 3, 4 days ago. no, 3 days ago. 3 days ago. This is like my third day of suffering this pains for now. And so I've been laying in my bed whenever I start feeling like my leg would start to twist, and I'm kind of like semi laying down, semi not. Like my back more or less is laying down, but like my upper torso where my neck is, it's like tilted because of the pillows. That's how I'm laying down right now, actually, and recording this. Have my laptop propped up on my stomach and just chilling like that. But it isn't fun because I can't move onto my left or right side when I get restless because it hurts. And then when I try to move back, it hurts even more. So the only position I can even sleep or lay on is just my back. My legs also get restless, so I occasionally move them, but carefully. Like the first 2 days, it was bad. Right now, it's a bit better. It's getting better, but very, very slowly, unfortunately. And because it's a nerve pain, what my parents and especially my mom, because she used to know a co-worker back in Russia who had the same problem, and basically she went to a doctor, and the doctor recommended doing a bit of exercise regime. However, it was so intensive that she was in tears. So I'm just trying to do this very gradually instead, very slowly, stretch my back, do a little twists and turns here and there. Sometimes with my legs, because for some reason when I move my legs, my lower back starts to hurt. But I guess I know why, because everything is really connected to it. So I've been doing that occasionally, and I my walking gets a little bit better. It kind of still hurts to walk normally, so I'm making like little steps by steps and stuff like that. But it's getting there gradually. And yesterday, my sister, she talked with her coworker about these nerve pains, especially on the lower back. And what her coworker suggested, and what I'm trying right now, is well, she said that turmeric helps, especially eating it or something like that. It has some kind of a quality that helps with the that somehow helps with the nerve pain. I think because it either nurtures it or helps with inflammation. I'm not too sure. But what my sister got, she got some kind of where is it? Oh crap! I won't be able to reach it. But it's like turmeric, but like um turmeric supplement is what it's called, I think, which is basically like turmeric and chocolate to make sure it's easier to consume. But I'm not sure how much it helps yet. I've been just eating once a day because I'm not sure if I'm gonna have an allergic reaction to it or if I eat too much of it. It's always everything should always be done in moderation. But aside from that, she also said ginger helps, uh, as well. However, we don't have fresh ginger. But what my sister did buy is ginger oil. She also got peppermint oil because apparently peppermint oil can also help to sort of relieve the pain. And I can kind of attest to that because today I applied a little too much of peppermint oil. So like my whole side was like feeling this super feeling super refreshing cool. But I didn't feel as much in pain as I did before, but it still hurts to sit. But at least that's something, at least it lets me know that, hey, it kind of helps, I guess. And I kind of like, because peppermint and ginger oil, I'm not sure how strong they are, but it feels like they're pretty damn strong. So because of that, we kind of add in a bit of, what is it called, jojoba oil? Like 3 drops of peppermint, 3 drops of ginger, and like 6 drops of jojoba oil, and more if you're not able to cover the whole area. But so far I've just been applying to it like to my lower back and the hip where the leg hurts a bit, because it does for some reason go there as well. So just in case I do that as well. And after that you usually have to cover up yourself with something far warm, or rather not yourself but the area to which you just applied the oils, especially with mint because it feels really cool and very breathy. I don't know how best to describe it, but that's what I'm describing it as. But because of that, you might feel like you might feel a little bit cold or kind of like it's too drafty. Maybe because it is a bit drafty somehow. I'm not sure what exactly is happening there, but just in case, cover up with something warm. It usually helps regardless if you have muscle pain or rather not muscle pain, but like if you sit in a place that's really drafty, you might be getting a lot of pains in specific parts of your body, like your back foremost usually gets that as well, and stuff like that. And yeah, so and apart from that, I've been drinking painkillers. Not like all the time, but like before I go to sleep. Apparently Tylenol a little bit helps. The one that's extra strength. It kind of helps to dull down the pain a bit, especially when I try to sleep. Because the first day I didn't sleep at all, like till 4:30, and then I was kind of like between meditating slash drifting to sleep, but not really. So I didn't feel too well rested, but afterwards, when I did drink Tylenol, it did help. And the other thing I've been taking in is a Russian medicine called I don't know how I translate it to English. I'll be frank, because the instructions on the back are in Russian, but it's called calendula. Specifically nastoyka calendula. Uh, and I dilute 1 teaspoon of calendula with 1 teaspoon of water, and it kind of it kind of well, it's usually good for your body, especially for if I remember correctly, for your blood vessels. Like my mom can tell you more, and you probably should consult the doctor beforehand. But yeah, mostly for that. Also because it might help with the leg a bit because I'm not moving too much either, so there's that as well. Yeah, I'm trying to read it a bit. 1 second. So yeah. Okay, so yeah, it does help with inflammation, it says a bit. So I guess it's a good thing because what my sister's coworker did say is that it's with a nerve pain you might get inflammation well where the nerve is or something like that. So I guess it helps with that as well. Yeah. So apart from that, that's pretty much it. So I can't do anything right now except just chill in the bed and occasionally walk around to stretch to make sure that I not only stretch my muscles a bit but also start exercising where my back is. But like when you exercise, you do everything really slowly, very fluidly, I would say as well. Don't try to be very sudden in your moves or very jerky in your moves. So because because you can cause more pain that way. Like today in the morning, I almost like twisted my hand a bit, or the nerve in my hand. It hurt for a while, but um, now I think it feels better. So, oh, thank God. But it's really terrible. So like, don't do what I did. Please exercise. Please be cautious about any exercise that you do. Like, don't be like don't try to do everything too suddenly or too quickly and with sudden moves and stuff like that because you can pull something accidentally and then like have a throbbing pain for a couple of days, which is not nice or pretty. Um, it might also be because on that day I did wash my hair and it is a bit cold at home because winter. We kind of live in the mountains, so and my parents' room can get a bit drafty as well. So it could be because of that, and because obviously when I work with a roller, I always there's constant exercise going on, and you kind of tend to sweat that plus having wet hair or damp head or whatever equals bad stuff gonna happen. Um, yeah, so don't do that as well. Especially in drafty places and stuff. So can be dangerous. You can get sick really, really badly, which I guess happened sometimes in my life. Rarely, but at some points it did. It's just been a while ago since something like that last happened. But anyway, I'm getting better, slowly, but better. And hopefully, once I do get better, I think it might maybe take a week or two from now on. I'm not sure. I hope it's gonna be very quick. But once that happens, I really wanted to make more episodes of Gothic, but I also wanted to start an episode of a new game of a game I tried to make before until I abandoned it again. But mostly that game is a good one. You'll definitely love it. It's I'm just gonna say it's an adventure game with interesting topics that some people may perceive as morbid, but to me it's just normal, I guess. It's cultural, not my cultural, not Russian, not part of Russian culture, but I think it may be like relating to Mexican culture. If you're not sure which game I'm referring to, well, you can easily scroll through my through my channel videos and find one. I think I only did one episode or three. I don't remember, but yeah, you'll definitely find it quickly because it's there somewhere buried under my channel. But yeah, I wanted to come back to that game because it's a really good one. It really really was well done. Actually, most of the old games were well done, which is why I don't really feel as much hype for new games at all. Especially when you look at the game design aspect, they tend to like concentrate more on, ooh, look at these shiny cool graphics and effects. But what about the gameplay and the interesting combat elements? Like for example, if you ever played Arcanum of Steamworks and Magic, to me, I like the game on one hand. On the other hand, I did because like a lot of old isometric RPG style games of the time, they really really overdid with combat because it felt like you're doing constant grinding. But but the role playing elements and the gameplay, in other than that, usually was fantastic, fantastic. And I loved with what you could do with your character and the possibilities and how the world just reacts based on what stats your character has. Like with Arcanum, for example, and I'm sorry this conversation is going into the game design world because I really love talking about game analysis and stuff like that. But I mean, I don't have much to do anyway, so you might as well listen to it. Um, I have like half a day of time because I'm confined to the bed mostly. But anyway, so for game design, so with Arcanum, for example, what I really really loved is that um you had the charisma stat, but if I remember correctly, it wasn't as useful as it is in most of the games nowadays. What charisma did, especially, is it controlled the number of companions you can take with you, which to me it sounds awesome because you can make a character who doesn't specialize in combat but has a whole gang following them. You know how cool it feels all the time when you can do that. And I literally invested in that just because it had the availability for it, and I was so excited to have like my own team of lemmings in there following me and doing all the grunt work while what I do is just sit there and be pretty. um that's yeah, bad joke, but yeah, okay, whatever, yeah. um well, except for that one, not exactly I was being all pretty, but I did invest in my magical abilities more than crafting. The game unfortunately had a little bit of a problem with balancing, but the gameplay mechanics, the idea behind it was fantastic. But anyway, but most of the games, they don't do that anymore, really. Like, they don't have stats some of the stats being actually useful or reflective what happens. If you played, for example, Fallout New Vegas, um, it also has a bit of a consequence of what you can put, well, what you can choose in your dialogue, and how some of the characters react based on what you say in your dialogue. And it's really really fantastic, when you do have that power and ability, especially because you can make the character that you actually want to create, and to whom the world reacts properly, well, more or less, because let's face it, uh, games right now, they still don't quite react to the characters exactly like you want them to, but they're getting, they were getting closer, at least back, mostly um back in the days when people actually cared about, good gameplay mechanics. Right now, though, my big beef is that, in the modern day, with video games, it's very very much more about making profit than actually making games for, you know um, for something creative, for something really awesome, like getting behind a really cool idea. Some of those games, they're kind of rare. Like, one of the games for which I'm actually, ever looked forward to nowadays was actually, Divinity Original Sin series. Because, well, first of all, the first game, I really liked it, but it was sad because, well, for me it was sad because, my favorite, composer, or what's the English word, compositor, oh wait, music, wait, I think it was composer, oh, composer, yeah, the my favorite composer, Kirill Pokrovsky, he died, and he made really great soundtracks, especially for the Divinity Dragonite Saga, which a lot of I played, and I loved the game to bits and pieces. Um, and yeah, and it was really sad and very nostalgic to see some of his work play out in the original Sin One, and having that sort of goofy game world still, be present in the original Sin One. Original Sin 2 is different than Original Sin 1, but it was still great in its own way because you had these awesome, cool characters like, um, that you could take with you as a companion, or not take them at all and just take one of them and have the lone wolf perk with you. And some of the decisions you made, they also reflected upon the world. Not as much, but they did have consequences of some of the quests, and how your characters reacted. Mostly your companions and the main storyline, I believe. Side quests, they do have an effect, just not as more of a, I would say, world shattering as it could, or rather, mostly because because it's a small side quest, it probably wouldn't. But it does make you think and reflect about what's happening in that world. And because it was so well written, it made you think about what is actually happening in the conflict that's taking place, and what's your take on what is happening, especially because, you, the character, are kind of a victim of some of the things that happen in the game. I kind of don't want to spoil it, but at the same time, I do. I'm trying to be very considerate because I'm kind of I tend to say exactly what I think, and right now I'm trying to censor to make sure I don't spoil anything for you guys. I do want to make Let's Play of that game as well eventually. It's just that it's a bit of a lengthy gameplay, especially because with combat, um, I like playing on tactical combat, or rather, not tactical. What's the level difficulty called? Tactician? Yeah, tactician. I like playing as on the tactician combat difficulty, which is really awesome because I get to be extremely strategic about what I can do and how I can trap my enemies. And like, me and my sister, we had so much fun playing it. Especially because, I had this brilliant idea to block off the staircases with crates and barrels, which was awesome because their NPCs were too dumb to like think about how let's destroy these barrels. Only one of them occasionally hit the barrel. They were like onto something, but like still stupid enough not to actually destroy it. But it was still funny, because the game allowed you to do that. And then I heard somewhere that you could be like, that you can create a fighting class, not based on skills, but per se, but make a fighting class that literally throws barrels at the enemies. Like, what did they call the class? The barrel master or something. And in the game they have barrels that have oil, water, and other effects, which can be effective. Well, if you use it correctly, and you can affect the what do you call it? Your oh, what do you call it? Your combat area? Yeah, okay, your combat area. That's good. And make sure that your enemies are gonna be having a harder time to attack you, or maybe too shocked to move and stuff like that. So yeah, it's really fun because it gives you that creativity. But yeah, that's mostly one of the few games I've been looking forward to at all in the past a year, well, couple of years. And they're releasing a new one sometime, so I really want to try it out. But I have to finish playing the second one because I never got it to the end. I do know what's happening though because I was way too curious, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go watch walkthrough a little bit to see what the ending is, because yeah, because I can't always play with my sister and stuff like that. We're all very busy lately, you know, and things like that. So yeah. I also heard the news, about like the new Vampire the Masquerade coming up. I really like the Bloodline series, which, if you know me, I'm talking about it. It might come up on the channel at some point if I don't get too scared, because I do get a bit easily peeved by some of the scenes or some of the things in the game. You'll be surprised by which things actually, because some people they don't react at all to some of the stuff in the game. Well, I do, and not to the ones that everyone else get freaked out by. But yeah, that the Bloodlines, the first one was good, but there's this new one coming up, and I'll be honest, I'm not really too sure what to think about it. Because I saw that the skills were a bit limited, and the combat looked like a bit more of a, well, at least as much as I was able to see of the combat, it looked a bit like more of a generic action game, more and less than, not as creative, I guess, maybe. I don't know, but maybe it's just because me and the new games lately don't seem to be seeing eye to eye, so maybe it's just that. But I definitely want to uh, first look at what the game is about, see how someone else plays it a bit before determining if I want to buy it or not, because I don't really do all the pre-order stuff. Well, first of all, they're pretty damn expensive, and I don't really find them that worthwhile to begin with. So I'll eventually probably get around to play it, but for now I'm very peeved about what to expect or what's gonna happen. The storyline seemed alright, but not sure how you feel about being a half blood and everything, because some parts of being a half blood, as I heard, is that you can technically walk around, as a vampire, as a half blood vampire, in the sun, but some can't, and some of the abilities are a bit weaker, but while others can be stronger or something something. There was this other channel that explained it far better than I am doing right now, so I apologize for that. I'm much better at being eloquent on paper, writing essays, than actually verbally expressing it. That's yeah, that's kind of one of my problems for that. But yeah, don't know what to expect about it. I guess we'll just wait and see. I was also wondering about the new Elder Scrolls game that might come out. What year they're speculating? 2020 or 21? I think it's 21. Some folks speculate. But there was this teaser trail that released, and a lot of speculation is that the game is going to take place in Hammerfell this time. And I'm very, very, or either Hammerfell or High Rock. I think it was Hammerfell. Uh, at least. Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm kind of excited but at the same time terrified because of the way Fallout 76 was and Fallout 4 was. To be honest, Fallout 4, it doesn't even hold a candle towards Fallout New Vegas. However, I do get it that Fallout 4 was made, by Bethesda, or rather developed by Bethesda, while Fallout New Vegas was developed by another studio entirely. Except I kind of forgot their name. Shite. But yeah, but I was a bit disappointed by Fallout 4. It was like it had a bunch of stats, but they didn't really matter at all in what you could do with your character or with them, especially because your character was very, very narrowly put into the marks of, hey, either you're a woman, if you're a woman, you're a lawyer, if you're a guy, you're a veteran, you have a kid named Sean, go and fetch him. And every time in the game world, you go around, it keeps reminding you that you have a son, you must rescue him. On the other hand, it feels so unnatural that, as a parent, or rather you play as a character who is a parent, but you as a character, you don't care enough about, or not, sorry, I'm getting so confused, you as a player don't care about your character who is a parent, maybe because you don't relate to what's happening, maybe the game didn't exactly execute that relation, or making that connection to the player, or feeling like, I do feel bad for my character, maybe I should go rescue my son or something. It didn't do it too well, so it was also very weird, to like feel like as a character that you wander around the Commonwealth, and like you have the son to save, but like you keep putting it off and off and off, and it's like, does your son even matter to you anymore? So that was to me very bizarre. It's something that doesn't fit in at all. um and with games like Fallout New Vegas, for example, the only backstory to your character you have is that you were a courier and you got shot by this guy, and that's it. You don't really know anything else that's happening in the game. Granted, I think there might be a DLC that's sort of like me that I'm not sure if it delves into the character backstory or something, but there's this DLC and that I haven't played yet, and it's like sort of hinting at, your character might know something or someone who hates them or something. Yeah, I'm not quite sure about that yet. I need to play. I really need to play it through, to find out more. But still, you have more freedom to determine who your character was in their life, except the part that you're a courier. But it doesn't really force down that courierness upon you, except that when you hear the radio, in the game, especially on the news, or rather that sort of show the consequences of your actions and the reactions of some, I guess, characters. They still call you the courier officially, so. But I guess they had to have a name and stuff, so yeah. But anyway, Fallout 76 was even worse because you practically didn't have any characters at all. I didn't play it per se, but I heard enough to be not wanting to play it, and seen the walkthrough and some of the glitches that people complained about and stuff like that. Although, to be honest, Fallout 76 did an amazing environment design in there. It was beautiful and breathtaking. And some of the parts of it, I think, some of the storytelling through game environments, I think it was also kind of well done, actually. It's just that everything else kind of sucked, especially hearing about the bugs that sort of like make your game a bit unplayable. That's terrible. It basically made it sound like Fallout 76 came out as an unfinished game for which you pay crazy amounts of money for. And the Creation Club doesn't really sound too much encouraging either. So there's that. I still want to hope that the next Elder Scrolls game is not going to be too I guess screwed up, but I don't know what to expect. I really don't. I'm still gonna hope everything's gonna be fine, but I guess time will show. We'll wait and see. But I guess, yeah, I guess this is enough about me rambling on, about video games and gameplay, and some video games not meeting my expectations, or what I consider to be a good game design, I guess. Although I'm pretty sure some of you guys probably won't agree with what I think is good game design, or what games are good or bad. and that's fine. We're all different human beings with different tastes and stuff like that. I'm more of a RPG adventure kind of gal. I like having my storyline fleshed out and my characters, really nice, very relatable. Also making sense. That's another thing. Sometimes some things just don't make sense. I noticed that a lot with some adventure games, but because of that, I kind of tend to laugh when it does happen. But at other times, I kind of get irritated because the puzzles might be a bit roundabout or kind of illogical. But I deal with it more or less. You know, I'll probably play some games like that, and you'll see what I mean. Just because I do like adventure genre a lot. Although I haven't played the most famous, the what was it called? Was it called the Monkey Island game series? Yeah, I think that's what it was called. I haven't played that a lot, and a lot of folks said that they're really good and stuff like that. Um, I mostly played like the Longest Journey for one. That one was really good. Really old because it was made like in the 1990s, but really, really well done. The games after it, however, Dreamfall, the Longest Journey, which is like basically the second game. It was all right. The story, um, it was still enjoyable and stuff like that. With the third one, it was a bit of meh. It kind of fell apart with the new angle they had with another character that they threw in. Um, which to me, I don't know, but it's just something didn't add up to me in my head. It's still an enjoyable game, don't get me wrong, but not what I thought it would, how it would wrap up the game series more or less. So I was a bit disappointed by that. And some other adventure series that I know of and loved is the first two Siberia games. I'm not counting the third one because the third one was terrible. I'm not even gonna consider it as canon of the game series. That's how much I don't like it. That's how much I don't like it. And yeah, and stuff like that. Basically, yeah, I really played around. Back when I had more free time. But now not as much. I'm the kind of person who doesn't like mainstream too much, mostly because I tend to get bored so easily. Like it's kind of like playing Grand Theft Auto games. Like I get so excited and hyped at first because like ooh, I get to have my own car, have my own house, do whatever I want. But then the charm, it just, I don't know, it wears off for me and I get bored. And the quests and the storyline, I never really liked it too much. So yeah, no. And that's just one of the examples. I really played a lot back in my day, or rather, back in my day. Jesus, that makes me sound old. Back when I was like 10, 11, 12, I used to play the heck out of Grand Theft Auto 3, Vice City, and San Andreas. Those were like the really old games I played a lot. But now, nah, no, doesn't really do much for me. Though it's nice to see someone else play it occasionally because it makes me feel nostalgic, and stuff like that. But other than that, nah. Probably not gonna be playing much of these games, stuff like that. Anyway, I've been talking for such a long time. I should probably wrap this up, especially my rantings. Ooh, so many negative comments going, I guess. Yeah, no. But anyway, thank you for listening to this rant. I hope you enjoy your holidays, the past holidays and the future holidays of whatever you celebrate. For us Russians, it's mostly New Year. Actually, it's kind of funny. The way I celebrate the holidays with my family at this time of the year is that we celebrate American Christmas, then New Year, then Russian Christmas, and Old New Year. That's how it goes for us. I know it's weird when you say Old New Year, but yeah, it's basically you celebrate the passing of the previous year, more or less, or I guess you say your last farewell to the passing year. But yeah, we're very festive. Our culture is pretty damn festive, mostly on New Year's. So that's mostly what we concentrate on more anyway. But anyway, whatever holiday you celebrate, I hope you'll enjoy it. I hope you'll have a fantastic vacation, and I promise that I will come back in a week or two. Hopefully sooner than that. I hope really really soon because man, I get really bored and tired from laying down so much. It just makes me feel restless, because at least on my table I can do something on my computer, maybe maybe finish that damn channel art design that I was planning to finish eventually. Right now, the way it is, I did it, but like I didn't like it as much, so I'm still brainstorming on what I can do with it. You know, I like designing a lot. That's kind of what I was, hoping for to do in my career, but not sure how it's working out right now. I guess wait. I guess I'll just have to wait and see. But anyway, thank you for watching, guys, and I hope I'll see you in the next episode of the game or channel update or whatever. Hopefully, it's a episode and not another channel update. Maybe I'll make a game analysis video at some point because I really do have a lot to say about game design in general, or specific video games and why I think they're bad or good, or rather, not particularly why one game is very, 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 awesome and stuff like that. I still find flaws within each game. It's just that to me personally, they're minor. To someone else, it may be, a major game breaking, you know, or rather, deal breaking thing. For me, not as much really, and stuff like that. But anyway, thank you for listening and happy holidays. Bye.